Welcome. You may be seated. On behalf of our pastor, Father John Kim, and the faculty and staff of St. Mary's Catholic School, we welcome you to our 2025 commencement. We celebrate tonight with you all, our parents, students, parishioners, and alumni, and together we welcome our esteemed guests, Very Reverend Father James Misko, Diocesan Administrator, Superintendent of our Catholic schools in Austin, Misty Poe, and Dr. Kevin Stewart, tonight's commencement speaker. Welcome to all of you. Now, I'll talk a little bit about a tradition we have here at St. Mary's. Every school year, our teachers, our staff, prayerfully discern a theme that will guide us throughout the year. Often, we do not know exactly how that theme will guide us, but we do know that since it comes from God's divine word, that it has a meaning for us and that it will become very important and purposeful in our year. Now, our theme this year is from Numbers 6:26. May the Lord look upon you kindly, and students, and give you peace. My dearest graduates, I've known some of you all your life. I've known some of you for 4 years, and I've known the rest of you for some amount of time in between. And I know you have all listened to me year after year, week after week, and at every event prompt you in reciting our school year's theme. No eye rolls, please. But some of these verses you may remember, and some you may not. But remember this now. This is your year, which means this is your theme. May the Lord look upon you kindly and give you peace. The words of this ancient priestly blessing convey that God will look favorably on you, lifting his countenance towards you. And he's not just looking from upon high on you in a galaxy far, far away. No, God is drawing close into you, seeing straight into your heart and your soul with his devoted attention, his undying love and approval. Well done, my child, he says. I am here with you, he says. I will never leave you. And the Lord also promises to bring you peace. The Hebrew word for peace, shalom, is more than just an absence of conflict. It refers to a rightly ordered wholeness, a well-being, a harmony in your life, both inwardly and outwardly. God's peace brings you contentment and security. So, after tonight, as you move on into life beyond high school, I guarantee that you will experience discontentment and insecurity. You will have times of complete frustration, utter heartbreak, uncertainty, and struggle. But you will persevere because you are secure in the Lord. The Lord always brings hope and comfort, light and peace to you personally in any situation, no matter how difficult. You must simply turn to him always. So you are ready for this, dear seniors. We have prepared you well, and we are very, very proud of you. May you go forward with one another. May you walk alongside the lifelong friends you have made here at St. Mary's. And may you walk with your parents, your teachers, your pastors, and your parishioners who have helped to form you here along the way. And may you always walk with God, for he looks upon you kindly and gives you peace. And now, on to a much better speaker than I. Tonight, we are happy to welcome Dr. Kevin Stewart to deliver our commencement address. Dr. Kevin Stewart is an assistant professor of political science, director of the Nesty Center for Faith and Culture, director of the Master in Public Policy and Administration program, and director of the Catholic Studies program at the University of St. Thomas in Houston. Previously, he served as president of the Austin Institute for the Study of Family and Culture, a social science research institute in Austin. He received his PhD from the University of Texas at Austin, where he studied public law and political philosophy, and was a visiting scholar at the University of Cambridge. He earned a Master's of Sciences from the London School of Economics and Political Science after receiving undergraduate degrees in history and English literature from Louisiana State University. He is chairman of the board for the Catholic Education Growth Fund, past chairman of the Diocesan School Advisory Board for the Diocese of Austin, editor of the Catholicism and Society book series for the Society for Catholic Social Scientists, a former headmaster here at St. Mary's Catholic School, and the owner of an award-winning strategy consulting and media firm. Dr. Stewart continues to be a visiting lecturer here at the high school, most recently leading an honors seminar in the fall on happiness and flourishing in America today. He and his wife, Mrs. Dr. Stewart, have 3 rambunctiously precious boys under the age of 7. So they say all of their work papers have crayon on them. It is now my distinct pleasure to welcome Mr. Dr. Stewart, as we lovingly call him here at St. Mary's.
Well, greetings, everyone. I got to tell you, if I'm smiling pretty big, it's because I always loved this day. One of the things I had to hide through elementary school was actually how much I liked school. But when you have clothes that look this silly, you don't have to hide it anymore. Everybody knows. So I love commencements. This one is a special honor for me, in part because St. Mary's and the school here figure regularly in my prayers. I want to start with a special congratulations to our graduates. Today is the payoff, the work, the stress, the sweat, the late nights and early mornings, and all those prayers before tests. They've all paid off. And it has been a tremendous honor to be around and watch the 6 of you grow and mature and think big thoughts and have big feelings and sometimes get the 2 crossed. I don't know if actually I ever told you that when we would come in here, when I was working with the high school and we would come in here on Mondays for prayer because there was no mass, we would often pray with the lights off, quietly. I prayed for each of you by name, regularly, every single one of you. And so I take some little credit that you made it across the line. Knowing each of you graduating today and reflecting on your journey, I am reminded of the most fundamental thing that every single one of us should realize, and that is God is doing something at St. Mary's, something profound, something important, and we all get to be a part of it. It's easy on a day-to-day basis to take that for granted, and I think I do most of the time. But days like this cause me to step back and take stock of the tremendous outpouring of God's love in my life in the form of each of you, the parish community and this school. How many other parish and school communities have their own article in First Things? I mean, this really is an amazing place. We could reflect on any number of features about St. Mary's, but the aspect that stands out to me today is this. In a culture inundated with the fake, the artificial, the virtual, from pseudo pleasures on the internet to fake foods to spending the last 2 weeks wading through fake quotes attributed to our new Pope, St. Mary's stands out as something real, deeply real. Now, it's dangerous to give a professor a microphone, and I promise this won't get out of hand and become a full lecture, but I do want to unpack just a couple of thoughts here. That fakeness that surrounds us is not harmless. It is not like an episode of Bluey, which is actually both amusing and even virtuous, especially if enjoyed in moderation. The pervasive, deep fakeness of much of contemporary culture instead draws us away from what's real and away from what's good. And here's the business end of the point I want to make right up front. What the fakeness is tempting us to is a prison and a form of servitude. The education at St. Mary's, and it seems only fair on your last day to reveal the secret plan, is a shared attempt by your parents and the school to give you the bolt cutters needed to break yourselves out of the prisons contemporary life is trying to put you in. What are those prisons? Chiefly two. The first prison is a prison of desire, locking us within ourselves. Our world tells us constantly to do what feels good, and that how something feels is the measure of its goodness. I hope by now each one of you could offer a strong argument against that view, drawing on Plato, Aristotle, St. Thomas, C.S. Lewis, and others. But no quizzes today, so I won't make you do it right now. Instead, you have come to understand in ways so manifold and repeated so often that no one would blame you for an eye-rolling, geez, Dad, sort of look, as I remind you that as the triune God is fundamentally in relationship, so are we when we're flourishing. But relationships come with strings. They bind us together. But our friends, our parents, our teachers, our co-workers, our community, and later our spouses and children, they all impose on our time and talents. But because we're fundamentally relational, those ties don't hamper our freedom, but enhance it. Doing what it takes to be a good friend, a good son, a good daughter, a good co-worker, a good student. These aren't things we do instead of our flourishing. They partially constitute our flourishing. The do-what-you-wanna notion of freedom is thus seen to be short-sighted and mistaken, radically incomplete for a good human life. The education your parents and this school have partnered in strives to give you just exactly these kinds of ways of thinking and acting that help direct, prioritize, and at times resist our immediate desires in the service of bigger plans than mere momentary pleasure. And we hope that education has created a little voice in your head that keeps asking about every opportunity, possibility, and temptation. Is it really good? That's how we break free of the prison of desire, and in the process, get out of the prison of our own heads. But even if we can get out of that prison, it isn't the only one out there. There's another one, equally tempting us to lock ourselves into its little cells. The prison of common opinion. From TikTok brain rot to news sources that peddle narratives, much of what swirls around us in the forms of conventional wisdom, memes, social media, and life within our phones is not just removed from reality, it's lying about reality. Cliches aren't thoughts, but someone else's substitutions for where our thoughts ought to be. The examples are easy enough to conjure. Love is love. It's all relative. It is what it is. Speak your truth. You do you. When we live by these statements and even fool ourselves into thinking they're our own thoughts, we have given over the power of thinking and deciding to others, to no one in particular. The education your parents and school have partnered in strives to equip you with patterns of mind and habit that let you see through these cliches, to see past the surface appearances, to reach the deeper dynamics. It is not an easy route. It wasn't always easy, was it? It is not the route taken by everyone. but it is the better way to live a genuinely and fully human life. So I hope there's a second little voice that pipes up whenever some new claim, some new opinion, that of course is the view every right-thinking person has and is presented to you, and that little voice asks, but is it really true? Breaking free of simply adopting the opinions in the cultural air is a necessary prerequisite to seeing the real world as it really is, and then making your own choices in light of that reality. That's how we ultimately escape the brutality of forces that lie to us about who we are, what we're made for, and what will make us happy. So don't be surprised if you go out from this place and find that things seem different elsewhere. If 6 months from now you feel like the world is trying to gaslight you, I'll say good, we did our job. But also, and more seriously, don't fall for it. You've touched and tasted, read and wrestled with the higher things, the philosophy of Aristotle, the theology of Aquinas, the literature of Shakespeare, the beauty and art of Rome, the music of Bach and Palestrina. Our hope in this room is that it's a ratchet that only goes in one direction. Now that you're in contact with the best thinking, writing, art, and music that humanity has to offer, nothing less will do. Nothing less for your lives than freedom and flourishing and striving after the things of God. It's customary for commencement speakers to give some advice to the new graduates, and I have only this to offer today. The people here love you. The education you have received came from that love. There will be many moments ahead in your lives of questioning, of difficulty and doubt about yourselves, about life, about God. Never ever feel like the education you got here at St. Mary's was a childish thing to be put away after today. Instead, come back to it in your mind in those moments of doubt and challenge. Come back to what you learned here, the people here who love you. Pray. Listen closely in those moments to the still small voice of your deepest conscience and hear it asking you, is it really good? Is it really true? May God bless each one of you and guide you always toward Him. Amen.
Thank you, Dr. Stewart. Always inspiring. And now I'd like to invite our upper school headmaster, Mr. Andrew Kinney, to come forward as we move into the presentation of our awards and honors. Thank you, Mr. Kinney.
Good evening, everyone, and I'm very, very proud of our 6 graduates. Dr. Stewart says correctly, we love you. And we're very proud of your accomplishments. First, we are going to recognize the National Small Town and Rural Scholar recognition in his junior year and the National Merit Scholar as a senior. Mr. Colby Barta, please come forward. Mr. Barta will stay up here as we announce our next awards. The Chesterton Schools Network asks that we recognize those students who have achieved certain levels on their cumulative GPA. And so, in recognition of first honors designation, a GPA of 3.67 or above, we once again recognize Colby Barda for his cumulative high school GPA of 1.331. I'm sorry, 4.1331. Joining Mr. Barda in this achievement, I would like to ask as well a first honors designee, Mr. Tyler Zimmerhansel, with an Thank you. Mr. Tyler Zimmerhansel with a cumulative GPA of 3.99. Congratulations, Mr. Zimmerhansel. Still honored. Our second honors designation goes to those students who achieved a cumulative GPA of 3.33 to 3.66. And so we honor Miss Grace Johnson. And with a cumulative GPA of 3.4093, also second honors, Mr. David Pena. In addition to the academics, our school spends a good bit of time on not academics. We have as integral to the high school a house system based on the old house systems in England. 4 houses named after 4 of the church fathers, the bishops, Ambrose, Athanasius, Chrysostom, and Augustine. And it is a tradition of Chesterton schools as well to designate a particular student who, not just their academics, but their other qualities, especially of wit and wisdom, and of service to the community, as recipient of the annual G.K. Chesterton Award. Our director of the house system, Mrs. Doak, will be coming forward. She has been able to see these students and all of their extracurricular activities, all of their house activities, and she will say a few words about our G.K. Chesterton Award recipient.
Thank you, Mr. Kinney. I have the incredible privilege of introducing you all to this wonderful student. I was told I was not allowed to talk for half an hour, so I will try to keep this brief. There are 3 things I would like to tell you about our recipient this year. First of all, this student is the epitome of a servant leader. He is the first to arrive and the last to leave anytime help is needed. He organizes others to work more efficiently, but he's not the step back and delegate type of leader. He delegates, and then he works alongside, guiding and contributing his own talents. As prefect of his house this year, he set the standard of excellence through service. He led the students of his house with steadiness and consistency. He kept his house in line. He made sure every duty was done flawlessly, and he led those students through his example. The second thing about this young man, he is selfless. He always has another idea about how he can improve the school. He actively wants to make it a better place, selflessly, because all of these changes wouldn't happen until after he leaves. But he cares that much about our school and its future. This young man, he came to me, I think, weekly with a new idea of how we could improve the house system or the curriculum or the next school event, and the list goes on. He was the first to suggest taking a trip to visit Mr. Burney because his charity for our school means that he loves each member of the community, and he will let no man be left behind. Lastly, this student is joy. Even when facing a difficult time, overcoming just another trial in the life of a senior, he had a positive attitude. He knows what he is doing and why he is doing it. He believes in his education. He finds joy in all of his tasks, like the lead role he took in our play this year, in which he was hysterical. And if these last three things weren't enough to prove to you how wonderful this young man is, I should also mention his charity to our littlest ones. He regularly works with our youngest students, reading to them, playing Legos, or helping to guide them around campus. As further proof of this, my 2-year-old loves him. I know confidently that every student and teacher on this campus has benefited from his example. He has the wit and wisdom of Chesterton. He is joy, he is love. Ladies and gentlemen, our 2024-25 G.K. Chesterton Award recipient, Mr. David Pena.
Thank you, Mrs. Doak. We are now going to move on to the presentation of certain scholarships that we're so proud of all of the scholarships that our students have been awarded throughout the country at the schools they've applied to. We're particularly proud of the scholarships that come from our community. So we'd like to please welcome up Patricia Felfy and family to present the Felfy Family Scholarship. Taylor Lions Club, especially Brenda Cox, Vice President, and Deborah Parker, the secretary, if she is here, and the family of Gaetano Alange, the Junior Memorial Award. The Felfy Family Scholarship will be awarded to will be a $1,000 each, awarded to Mr. Colby Barda and Mr. David Pena. Please come forward. Congratulations, Colby and David and Felfys. We are so grateful for your support of our students each year. Next, we have the Taylor Lions Club Scholarship. This scholarship of $2,000 will be going to Mr. Tyler Zimmerhansel. Congratulations, Mr. Zimmerhansel, and thank you so much, Mrs. Cox. And now also for one last scholarship, the Gaetano Alange Jr. Award, a $5,000 delivered to Mr. David Pena. Congratulations, Mr. Pena. Thank you so much, Pettingill and Schott family, for supporting our students. In addition to the scholarships our students have received from their colleges, we are also so very thankful for the amazing generosity of our local community members. These 3 scholarships, and also our very own Catholic Daughters of America and Knights of Columbus chapters here at St. Mary's. They also award scholarships to our St. Mary's high schoolers. So if you're a Catholic daughter or a knight, please stand so that we may thank you. All Catholic daughters and knights, please stand so that we can thank you. And we move on to the climax of the ceremony. Father John, Father James, Mrs. Altman, Mrs. Poe, and distinguished guests. I have the honor of presenting to you our 2024-25 candidates for graduation. Seniors, please stand. As I call your name, please approach the altar from the St. Joseph's side and receive your diploma. Once you have received your diploma, I ask that you then return to your seat. Colby James Barta. Pearson Jack De Hoyos. Grace Kathleen Johnson. Gabriel Maldonado, Jr. David Wayne Pena. Tyler Michael Zimmerhansel. Graduates of St. Mary's Catholic High School, please come to the center of the altar. Congratulations on your achievements, and may the Lord use your talents to build his kingdom. You may now turn your tassels. Graduates, please remain at the front. I now invite our 4 house mentors to come forward. Dr. Dahlberg will hand you your books to give to the graduates. We present to each of these graduates 2 special gifts. A copy of Jay Budiszewski's book, How to Stay Christian in College, and C.S. Lewis Collector's Edition of Works. We pray that these will provide you with both practical guidance as well as continue to inspire you with truth, beauty, and goodness. Mentors, please come give these books to our graduates and offer a private word of encouragement. Thank you. Mentors, you may return to your pew. Graduates, please return to your pew. It is now my honor to introduce this year's 2024-25 valedictorian. Mr. Colby Barta spent all 4 years of his high school at this fledgling school in this high school's first years. I met him just 3 years ago when, as a sophomore, I was repeatedly impressed with both his character and his academic prowess. I was his philosophy teacher, and a few weeks into the school year, we discussed the Euthyphro dilemma, a particularly tricky objection to the existence of God, brought up in one of Plato's early dialogues. Colby had already shown his ability to read and understand Platonic dialogues at the ripe age of 15, and he showed a keen intellect and understanding of God, quickly seeing through the supposed dilemma as a misunderstanding of God's nature and articulating there in the classroom a better explanation of God's nature and how it avoids this dilemma. This was quite impressive, and I emailed his parents about how impressive this was, and I was so excited to teach such a student. But in the same month, I saw something that impressed me more: a constant attention to charity to the well-being of others. I recall his sister was sick one day, and Colby went to each of her teachers to make sure he knew exactly what materials she had missed out on, what she needed at home before she came back to school. Once, while we were waiting outside the church, and we were out there in front of the front doors, and a truck, I believe, stalled out on the road. And Colby, along with several others, but Colby was one of the first young men to immediately rush over and help move the car to safety before we went into Mass. Colby continued to show charity and leadership throughout his whole high school career. He served as captain of the football team and prefect of the reigning champions in our house competition for the last 2 years, House Athanasius. And yes, he continued with academic excellence. He got all A's, and he became a national merit finalist in my own class last year, Junior Humanities. He wrote his research paper on Voltaire and the French Revolution and how the revolutionaries misunderstood Voltaire, I believe was his thesis. He insisted on reading far more primary sources than I had actually assigned for the assignment. But his head was never far from his heart. He wrote his senior thesis exploring solutions to homelessness in the United States, while he organized a service project for the homeless as prefect of House Athanasius. And I am looking forward greatly to see what he will do as he goes on to study political science at Notre Dame. So it is with great pride that I welcome Colby up to give a better speech than what I have just given. Mr. Colby Barta, our 2025 valedictorian.
was nothing. Good evening, everybody. Frankly, it's hard to believe that high school is finally over, but here we are. People keep asking me about how I feel about graduating and moving on to college, and my classic introverted response is either I don't know or I feel excited and leave it at that. But now I have to give a speech to our class on our high school journey and taking our next steps, so neither response will do. The emotions I feel are very human ones: relief, excitement, joy, but also sadness, wistfulness, and a longing for a simpler time. Moments like graduation are unique. Looking backwards and forwards, we can see our journey in a new light when we give ourselves the chance to reflect for a minute. Class of 2025, it is vital to stay in the moment and cherish the diminishing time we have left with our friends and family, our community, and everyone we love. As Coach Kobia told us in football practice, be where your feet are. Among my emotions is an overwhelming sense of gratitude for the many people who have helped us make it this far. There are too many people to count, but I hope you all know of my undying gratitude for each of you, even if I forget or don't have time to mention you, because I am under the gun here. First of all, I thank our teachers and staff here at St. Mary's. Without you, our graduation wouldn't be possible. I'll try to name as many as I remember. Mrs. McFarland, Mrs. Schrader, Mrs. Lumpkin, Mrs. Bohach, Mrs. Doak, Mrs. Prize, Mr. Boardman, Mr. Heil, Mrs. Wazaleski, Ms. Arrows, Mr. Kinney, Dr. Dahlberg, J.P. Kinney, Mr. White, Mr. Bowles, Dr. Stark, and even Mr. Sicking, and especially Mrs. Guzman. All of you gave yourselves to spend your days trying to teach stuff to teenagers. To y'all and to all those I forgot or was only indirectly impacted by, thank you. To Coach Kobia, Coach Z, Coach Altman, Deacon Mark, and both Coach Jim and Moses Buzon, Coach Salazar, and to all that made the Rams athletics program the hive of activity, excellence, and friendship that it is, you have my eternal gratitude. Coaches, your example of toughness, competitive spirit, and genuine care for your players will stick with me long after my little athletic talent is gone, and I thank you for everything. To our amazing Fraternus and Philia mentors, you guys mean so much to me. I'm continually in awe of how much work y'all put into bringing us closer to God. I'm sure I speak for the entire class when I say that y'all are amazing, and thank you for showing us the love of God in 1,000 small ways. I'd also like to thank Mrs. Heidi Altman. If she got a standing ovation every day, it wouldn't do justice to how much this school owes her. Her smile, infectious enthusiasm, and wisdom has kept this school thriving, kept the students' spirits bright, and given me encouragement and love when I needed it the most. I also thank the priests and seminarians that have touched my life in amazing ways by their witness for God. Deacons, soon-to-be fathers, Lad Spears and Kingsley O'Hary, Father Callan Sweeney, Father Paul Michael Piega, Father Keith Kale, Father John Kim, Father James Misko, and even though he got moved, Archbishop Vasquez, have brought the presence of Christ to us students, whether through the Eucharist, the sacraments, sharing a meal, and even football and cross-country practice. And last but not least, I'd like to thank my family. From my aunts and uncles to my littlest cousins and my siblings, you all have shown me so much love and support throughout the years. Without each of you, I wouldn't be who I am today, and I love y'all so much. Even though he married in, I'd like to thank my Uncle Kevin for becoming my mentor, confirmation sponsor, and a friend whom I can talk to about anything. He's been there for me through great times and tough times, and has always given me sound advice that makes me think a little bit more deeply about myself. He's the wisest person I know, and it's been a huge privilege to have been the favorite nephew for so long. Thank you for everything, Uncle Kevin. To my siblings, Mercy, Joseph, Hosea, Nora, Bosco, Daniel, and Marietta, I love y'all. From fights about driveway basketball fouls to changing diapers on the long road trips, we have done everything together, and I'm sad to be leaving. But we have a bond stronger than a 17-and-a-half-hour drive, and I will always be there for each and every one of you when you need it. And finally, to my parents, I've realized over the years just how good I have it. and I love you in a way that words cannot express. There are many people who don't who don't have parents who love them unconditionally, who both support and challenge their kids, who are remarkably skilled and knowledgeable about so many things.